Now, the Church of Nigeria, otherwise known as the Anglican Communion, has condemned the election of Right Reverend Cherry Van as the new Archbishop of Wales, calling it a departure from biblical teachings. Van, an openly homosexual cleric in a civil partnership, was elected on the 30th of July 2025, securing a two-third majority vote from the Electoral College. The Anglican Primate of Nigeria, Most Reverend Henry Ndukuba, stated that the church would not recognize Van's appointment, saying it reflects a broader rejection of scriptural authority within parts of the global Anglican community. He warned that such decisions undermine the church's mission and evangelism efforts. Ndukuba compared the situation to past controversies on the former U.S. Episcopal Church leader Catherine Jefferts Schody, accusing Van of complicity in Anglican's communion's ongoing divide over same-sex issues. For a chat about this crisis of confidence in the Anglican Church over the election of an openly gay cleric as Archbishop of Wales and how to manage it, Arise News analyst Dayo Sobowale joins us today. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. It's a pleasure. Yes.
Okay, let's sink our teeth into it straight away.
Well, straight away, yes.
What do you make of this?
Okay, it's an ongoing thing.
Yes.
But it has reached a climax now. This ordination of gay people in the Anglican Communion has been condemned unequivocally by the former primate, Peter Akinola. He had a serious clash with the Archbishop of Canterbury then. But then it is this thing they call progressivism in the West. You think human rights tops everything. But I've always said there that your freedom ends where my nose begins. So there's no absolute right. So for people to now come to the anticlimax and make a woman Archbishop of Wales, it is unthinkable to us who are, I'm Anglican, incidentally, and I feel affronted by it. So I'm in total support with what Prime Minister Ndukuba has done. And the Anglican Church has summoned the courage to fight the West. I've said the West over this issue. And it has gone to the extent that some Americans who didn't like it, like us, have teamed up with the Nigerian Anglican Communion, and they have a diocese registered in the U.S., which those who don't want gay priests flock to, which Nigeria Anglican Communion is running with the American Anglican Communion. So it is an affront to the Bible. It is an affront to the way we are brought up. And you may want to laugh again. That is why I like Donald Trump. You know, the first thing he did when he got there was that there are two sexes, male, female. Must the president tell us that in this age and time? So let's leave it at that for now. Right.
All right. Knowing that you're also from the Anglican Church, this topic definitely suits you. But Mr. Sobowale, do you think that this represents an irreconcilable theological divide between Western and African Anglicanism?
Absolutely. You are correct. You are correct. And that is what Ndukuba has said. And he's even calling on Anglicans, get me? Mm-hmm. To denounce, to reject, to expel people, even in our midst, who want to countenance this sort of ordination of gay priests. You know, this current Archbishop of Wales has what they call a lady like herself, what they call civil marriage. They tried it with the last Pope too. You get me? But just like our champion Ndukuba has gone, the Nigerian Catholic Bishops' Conference, they rejected it with the last Pope. They rejected it totally. I see, I'm not echoing Trump again, but marriage, as we know, in African society, is between a man and a woman. That is it. That is it. So, to me, it is like they are using religion to suppress African culture. And luckily, we are fighting against it. Even look at Nigeria. You have Boko Haram, you have Wasmen and all these people. The unifying factor amongst all these adversaries is that they agreed that marriage is between a man and a woman. Let's leave it at that.
Right, but when you look at it closely, You find out that this is not the first time issues like this are rearing its ugly head on the continent, because if I'm not mistaken, Uganda has had this problem, Kenya has had this problem, and the fight back was fierce because reprisal actions were taken against some of these countries for standing up to say, or daring the West to say, we will not accept same-sex marriage.
I'm proud of those nations. That is the point I'm trying to tell you. And that is why you have to look again at American politics. That was why Kamala lost. You get me? These gay rights, these abortion things, these are religious, cultural issues. And it is permeating through international politics. That is why you have China, Russia, having total defiance and almost hatred of the United States during the Biden administration. Because of this gay, you know the policy, I always mention it, diversity, inclusion, and equity. Yeah. That's right. You see, it's like they said, at a stage, there was a judge of the Supreme Court, a woman, first black woman. They asked her who is a woman. She couldn't define a woman, even as she's every inch a woman. Do you get me? Luckily, I would say luckily, in the context of what we are discussing, Trump won. And let me give you a personal example. Before I joined this space, I had a column in The Nation. My column was Global Economy and Politics. I wrote it for about 5 years. But when this Biden administration won, you get me, I changed my column to New Cultures and Politics. It's on the internet. I researched this sort of thing. And it has reached, but luckily God punished them because Trump won. So Ndukuba and Trump and some of us are on the right page. And we are sure God will prevail. And we say that marriage is between a man and a woman. The Uganda you mentioned, they wanted to force them, you get me, to change their way of life, and it's not done. And so Africans have the guts to tell them to go back to where they are coming from. I'm happy Biden lost, and I thank God for that. And I thank God for someone like Ndukuba, who is saying that the Nigerian church will not recognize a gay as bishop.
All right, Mr. Sobowale. I mean, of course, I never heard anyone saying in one sentence, luckily God punished them, but that's for later. I know, it's you. Of course, it's you. Yeah. So will the Church of Nigeria, do you foresee this happening? Will the Church of Nigeria formally break communion with the Church of Wales over this appointment?
No, we don't have communion with them. We have communion with the Church of England. Do you get me? Mm-hmm. With the Church of England. We have not severed ties, but they don't control us anymore. Since the time of Peter Akinola, you needed to see how they portrayed Akinola in those days, or BBC. Frank Talk, they were trying to hound him, to show him as not tolerant, all of us as not tolerant, whereas the Bible is very explicit on that. It's a moral issue. Now let me give you another example. Well, Adechiloye, a former primate, when this started, he said, okay, Nigerian priests should go to the hinterland and tell the elderly people that this is what the Ogbos are saying now, that a man can marry a man. You know, when they told the elderly people in the Ekiti-Jebula, they said they don't believe those emissaries, that the Oyibo who brought Christianity here can now turn out and say a man should marry a man. So for it is antithetical to our own culture and way of life. It's condemnable, and I doff my hat to the Anglican primate for telling them to go elsewhere, to preach that. Let's leave
that. But what do you make of the fact that we've seen episcopal abuse of power over the years, where small boys, young boys have been preyed upon? And some are saying that this almost rubber stamps that the church itself are not looking out for people, and they rather just pander to the times as against taking the moral high ground.
You are very, very correct. But that was the basis for sneaking in on us and bringing in the ordination of gay people. Well, there were child abuses, especially in the Anglican Church, and that was what led to the fact that a former pope had to resign, which was never done before. I don't want to I will mention, it was during the Obama era, they put pressure on the Pope.
John Paul?
No, not John Paul, the successor to John Paul, the German Pope, Ratzinger, Joseph Ratzinger. That was how he had, but he happens to be an intellectual himself. So you want me out, but I will resign. He resigned. And even the pressured Francis, you know, at a stage, Francis had to be more. See, this thing started during the Obama era. It has always been there during when you have democratic presidents. In the name of human rights, in the name of civil rights. But you get now, people are standing up, and it has polarized even world diplomacy to the extent that when the Russians sit at table with them, they, you know what you think of each other. So these people with this sort of cultural background talking to me. You get me? So it's a dangerous development, and people should resist it. And thank God, you see, we are lucky we have oil. Otherwise, they would have done what they have done to some Malawi, Lesotho, even Uganda, even Ghana. They tried it in Ghana. They resisted them. Yes. So that's our way of life. Let's we as Africans respect our way of life and defend it.
All right, Mr. Sobowale. Thank you so much for your insightful analysis. We appreciate your time as always. Thank you.